welcome back to Around Town with Lily. Today, I'm interviewing Brian Fox, who is the chairman on the Wakefield Independence Day Committee. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
To start off, when was the first Wakefield Independence Day Parade?
The first one was in 1922, and it wasn't an annual event until 1948.
How did they start?
A group similar to a modern Chamber of Commerce wanted to have an event to promote Wakefield, so they decided let's do a really, really big parade, and they did it in Wakefield, and it took some years off due to wars, quite a bit going on between the 1922 and 1948 with regard to money and various world events happening, and then it was taken over by the West Side Social Club in 1948 and run by them up until 1989.
What is the Wakefield Independence Day Committee responsible for?
Our sole mission is to put on the Wakefield 4th of July Parade every year.
How many members make up the committee?
We have about 20 active members that come to our meetings and our events. And then on parade day, we usually have about 100 volunteers, so it really jumps in that last week.
What is your role as chairman?
I organize the meeting, set the agenda, make sure that all the different subcommittees are doing what they're tasked to do. So we have people that book bands. I book everything that's not a band. We have someone doing floats, a business fundraising coordinator, kind of like working with all these different subgroups to make sure that we're on track for the 4th of July itself.
How did you get involved with the Wakefield Independence Day Committee?
So that's really funny. The 4th of July parade went away in 2012. The group that ran it before said they weren't going to have a parade, and there was no parade for 2 years. And Patrick Sullivan was one of my Boy Scouts, and I was a Boy Scout leader. And he decided that at 19 he was going to take on bringing back the parade, and he was recruiting people he knew from Scouts and around town. And he was sending me messages and emails, and I was ignoring them because I didn't want to do it. And I ran into him on the street, and I was like, good luck with that. And then before you know it, he roped me in, and I'm now heading towards my 5th parade.
But
so
you
I didn't
enjoy
really
it.
want to do it, but here I am.
Now you enjoy it.
And now I enjoy it. It's like an all-consuming part of my life now.
When does the committee start planning for the parade?
4th of July,
Yeah.
as soon as it ends. We start planning the next year. I've been known to watch the fireworks while on my phone, looking up things and doing follow-ups while I'm waiting for the fireworks to start. Then we have a wrap-up meeting in July to close out that year's parade, a party in August, and then we kind of take off the rest of August, all of September, and now we're going to start taking off October before we really start the next year. So it almost doesn't stop because you're still responding to emails and other stuff that happens between those meetings, but our formal schedule is the new parade starts in November, but it kind of never ends.
Overall, how much time do you spend with the committee?
Too much. We basically have monthly meetings, November through May, and then we start having a meeting every Sunday. The subcommittees are meeting. I spend a lot of my lunch breaks at work booking groups. So the committee itself may not be formally meeting, but all the different subcommittees doing their individual efforts throughout the year. There's always texts and emails going around. That never stops.
Is it ever challenging to book a group?
Extremely. So 4th of July is a holiday, and you have a lot of groups that don't want to perform on a holiday. If we did a Memorial Day parade, much easier, but 4th of July is a little tougher to book bands and groups because it's a major summer holiday. People like to go on vacation. So that makes it a little harder. This year's on a Saturday, so you have a Saturday on a holiday weekend, and now it's like you've got this 3-day weekend, so do you really want to march in a parade? So that's one of the challenges of this year, but we're working on it.
How much money does it cost to get it to work?
Last year's budget for the parade was $75,000. the majority of it goes to marching bands and the filler groups that perform anything that isn't music. So we have $20,000 went to the non-musical acts, 40,000 went to bands. We have prize money for floats plus reimbursements. And then you throw in all the other logistical things, porta potties, walkie-talkies, insurance for the day to make sure that if something happens, we're protected. That totaled $75,000. This year we're looking at a $100,000 budget. So everything is.
That's a lot.
Yeah, all that $75,000 stuff is increasing. We're trying to get better golf carts this year, better groups that may cost a little more than we normally pay for, but because it's our anniversary, we thought we'd kick that up a little bit.
Since it costs so much money, how do you get the money? Do you do fundraisers? Or?
We have a lot of fundraisers throughout the year. We had our first one in January. We did a character meet and greet with performers who have been in the parade. So Batman, Iron Man, Disney princesses, things like that came to the Sheraton. We had a fundraiser there for kids. April Vacations, our annual spring carnival at the middle school. So we'll have a carnival there that will raise about 20% of our budget if we have good weather. We'll sell T-shirts at the farmers markets and at the Festival by the Lake. And then we have business fundraising where we solicit donations from businesses that want to be involved in the parade, as well as we have envelopes that go out in the light bill so people can send a donation that way. We accept donations through PayPal, through our website. And then finally on parade day, we have people that walk around with buckets collecting cash and change, and last year that made us $8,000 just walking around with the buckets.
What activities need to happen in order to make the parade a success?
Having volunteers and donations. You don't need a lot of volunteers in November, but as you get closer, there's more to be done. You just need more people. Like just going out and we need someone to go to Stop and Shop that donated water to us. Could someone go out with a pickup truck and get 100 cases of water? Just coordinating that kind of stuff as you get closer. And then, of course, lining up the parade. We had 3,000 people in it a couple of years ago, and that's very difficult to line up without a lot of volunteers to actually do that work. It's always hard because the performers don't want to perform on the 4th of July. A lot of people don't want to spend their 4th of July in a 90-degree day, starting at noon, standing out in a parking lot till 7 o'clock at night. It's a tough sell on a holiday.
So it must be hard booking all the groups, and with the cost, what is the biggest challenge of putting together the parade?
It's probably just the volunteer part of it. None of us are getting paid. I'd like to say we can offer you pizza for coming and helping, but we don't really do that kind of stuff very often. Most of the money we raise goes right back into the parade itself. So someone may bring in cookies one night. It's not like we're going to offer you a dinner, except for our annual summer get-together after the 4th of July, more of a celebration. But even then, we get a lot of donated food for that. So.
How can people help? How do they sign up to volunteer?
They can go on our website, www.julyparade.org. Has my contact information and our generic parade information on there, as well as our Facebook page.
Finally, what can people expect this year?
It's a great question. So far, I know we have bands coming from around the Northeast. We're working on some from Canada. We have a group special thing that's never been in Wakefield is coming from Idaho this year for the first time ever. That's going to surprise a lot of people when they see it. We have stilt walkers, jugglers, superheroes and princesses, and anything you can imagine will be out there on the 4th this year.
Well, I'm very excited to see that, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching this episode, and I'll see you next time.